This is the first chapter of series interview for the special project by Atelier Privé, Why Art is a New Code of Luxury. And today we are honored to be invited to the studio of Azza Al Qubaisi. Azza, thank you so much for inviting us to your studio, to your space where you create art. I would like to know more about you, about your art, and about your vision. I have watched a few interviews, some videos about you, and I know some background that you studied in London before, but I'm very curious, where was that moment when you realized that this is your hobby and this is your life, and where was that moment of the start?
So I think for me it was definitely when I was specifically in Oxford. So I was doing my A-level to get into Chelsea College of Art and Design for my foundation year. And it just hit me then that all I want to do is more creative work rather than more academic work. And that was when I called my father and I told him that I'm changing my major and I'm submitting for Chelsea College of Art and Design. And the journey started there. And to me, as much as it was a new path, it was definitely something that made me happy and made me feel very confident that I want to do this. I had zero doubt. To me, I always describe it as I literally visualized like a golden door being opened for me by my dad, giving me the full responsibility. He told me, in the end of the day, if you succeed, it is your success, but if you fail, it is also your failure. So to me, that kind of responsibility at the age of 18 was the best thing I've ever done for myself.
Beautiful. What did you feel when you realized that your family support you and you have all the freedom?
Well, definitely it's a privilege. I know not everybody gets that, and I know my father was a very educated and very supportive father to me, and that opportunity I did not want to let go of in any manner. So I really used it to fulfill learning and using my time wisely in getting all the knowledge I can to succeed in my career and in my life.
Most of your work, it's about heritage, it's about your nation, your community. It always been like this, or you started from something different?
Well, I would say my work reflects my culture and identity, my search into understanding myself. And nature has been a vital part in using those elements into how I reflect myself. So to me, the desert, the sea, the mountains, the pond, the gulf tree are repetitive elements that are part of who I am and part of my search and answers. So saying that, to me, it's a process of understanding. The more I understand myself and my identity, the more a lot of people see themselves reflected within my work because of the common elements that I use in my work that a lot of other Emiratis connect to, whether in the UAE or in the region. And I think it is very important to be true to oneself. And that's what I seek, because mainly I believe that our uniqueness, when reflected in our art, makes it more unique. And the more unique it is, the more appreciated by others.
Many artists that say that their work teaches them something new about themselves. What your art taught you about yourself? What you found?
Well, I think my art taught me a lot. It taught me to be patient, to learn to be patient, because that was not a skill I had. It taught me that I enjoy connecting to nature. I didn't know that until I lived in London. I didn't know I loved my desert. So to me, there were a lot of things that were there, but I didn't clearly identify with them or how I feel about them. But I think it was very clear for me after coming back that I have a huge passion towards being around nature, whether the sea or the mountain or the desert, whether trying to connect and observe is something I enjoy practicing. I even take it to the point where, to me, the new year, I have to be in the desert. I have to take my family camping. To me, that has become a vital tradition in my personal family.
So our roots is always our place of power.
For sure.
When we talk about people who encounter your art, now we know what you found out about yourself within your art. What about people? What you want them to realize and to where they should look into?
I think the more I am honest in my work, the more people connect in their different ways. I used to enjoy definitely more in the past when I would see people talk about my work in an exhibition. They didn't know who I was, so they would talk very freely. So I used to listen to them. So to me, those kind of expressions and how they connect with the work and what they see was something I enjoyed listening to. And I believe art can be universal in how we perceive it and see it. So to me, it is very different how I perceive it, and I'm very okay with anybody else perceiving it in their own way. And because I use a lot of natural elements and layers in my work, I feel it makes it much more connected to a lot of different people. Some of the very touching times, or I would say reflections I received, was from an Iraqi person who looked at some of my pieces that were made of the palm, and his eyes teared, and for a moment there I thought I understood why he is feeling that way. And then I started communicating with him, and to him he had not seen the palm in the way I represented it, and it reminded him of his childhood and the farms that got burned. So to me, that human connection with nature is very vital to us. It might differ from one generation to the other, and if my piece can touch people and bring memories, whether those memories are there existing or not, they connect us to our humanity. And I think that is very vital to us.
It's very strong and touching.
Yes.
When you see what gives your art to other people, how they reflect it.
For sure. And to me, it just makes me feel much more, even further passionate to just be honest in what I try to create. Because the minute we start thinking what we want others to see, I think that moment is where we start losing ourselves to what we think rather than what we believe and what we should. So to me, I think it is very important to stay honest with myself.
I noticed that there are more and more Middle Eastern artists.
Yes.
I see in different galleries in New York and London and Paris, everywhere. What do you think it's the art of Middle East? It's more like collective memory, or it's more like self-expression?
Well, I believe depending on the perspective and how the work is seen or curated, it can have many different layers to it. But for sure, an artist's work is personal and self-representative. The collective part always gets to be seen when they are exhibited in a certain way, a collective memory of different artists and different pieces that can tell a story. And I believe, depending on the curator or the curation of what we are seeing, we can see a period of time. We can see a reflection of a certain generation or a certain memory. And for sure, we see in different exhibits elements that always are repetitive, and the palm tree is in paintings and sculpture, in so many different things. I mean, we have to be honest, it's there around us. So for sure, as an artist, you will reflect what you see in the end of the day and your connection to that element and what it represents to you. So to me, I believe when a work is seen in a different perspective or in a new space, in a different environment than where it got to be made, gives you a memory of that given person, that given moment, and it gives you a different perspective.
Before we start recording the interview, you mentioned that you always been investing in art.
Yes.
And especially focusing on the Middle East.
Yes.
Could you name some of your favorite artists?
Oh my God, that's so difficult because I love all the artists I know and I love their work. To me, it has been a mission impossible to focus on first generation Emirati artists. I think it is very vital for all of us to have the first and second generation artworks within our collections. And to me, I love them all, from Dr. Najat to Mona Al-Khaja as a female artist, to Dr. Muhammad Yusuf, Abdul Rahim Salem. I love their work. Muhammad Ibrahim, I mean, name it, I can't stop. Do I dream of having all of them? Yes, for sure. Do I have some of them? Yes, alhamdulillah. I feel blessed to have them. I believe they reflect a lot to me and they represent and capture a lot to me. If they made it, then I can definitely for sure push and make it. Circumstances between artist generation differ from one generation to the other. Some things are variable in our lives, but I believe in the end of the day, we only learn from others. We can't just learn from nothingness. And to me, that aspect is very important. Their life, their work, their styles, and where they are today in their work is very important to me.
Today, a lot of fashion brands, a lot of brands in general and companies, they start doing some campaigns, collaboration with artists,
yes,
more and more. What do you think about it? Why is the moment is now?
Well, I believe from my personal experience, it is very interesting to see all these huge commercial brands that work with artists, even fund the creation of artwork. I didn't even know it existed, to be honest. So when I got the opportunity and I got commissioned a few years back, I loved it because, it's another way of making more of our work and our art and showing it to a different kind of audience, whether in the country or out of the country. And I think it connects us with other networks that we will not have access to in other possible ways. So to me, for brands to collaborate with artists, number one, it shows how important that part is. For sure, it's a win-win collaboration in that case.
In your collection, you also have jewelry.
Yes.
Very beautiful. I already have a look at this. It's incredible. Why people still go to some famous brand rather than explore local brands,
Yes, I think this is a very important question because I think a lot of individuals out there don't realize the differences between, let's say, art as a wearable form and brands. It's two different worlds. It's an apple and an orange. The idea of buying local is also something modern, new. I think we hear it more often in the past 5 years. I think it is a very important move because people are now appreciating the local ideas, the local production, and they realize it is not just about being local, it is much more environmental and more sustainable. So there are different layers, but if we're talking, let's say, specifically wearable art, then this sector is a very new sector. Although I have existed for 20 years now, the sector itself needs more artists. So there are few, I would say a handful of others that have studied and started producing their own wearable art pieces. But the idea of production and design and financial gain in that business environment is also existing, and it has been growing very rapidly in the past decade, I would say. But I think people need to understand the differences between everything, because where you invest depends on what you like and what you want to gain out of it. Do you want to just look or wear something pretty, or do you want to connect with this artist and own something that is more an investment? But this knowledge is only now getting much more available. People are accessing this understanding, and there is much more appreciation towards owning art in many different forms.
Your wearable collection somewhere in Dubai Mall, I don't know, in other malls?
To be honest, I have not wanted to put my work, especially the wearable art, into environments that are very commercial. I think people who own my pieces seek, that aspect. We still don't have galleries who stock wearable art. So I don't think yet, but maybe eventually, yes. My main focus in the past decade has been mainly, product design and creating custom gifts. So selling my art is like I'm keeping it very exclusive and only for the ones who seek it, rather than commercially making it available. I'm really happy because I got in the past few years the opportunity to even produce bigger public art pieces, and that makes me feel, much more alive, because instead of using or wearing one wearable ring, let's say, now people can enjoy a huge piece of mine, in a public space. So to me, that means a lot of more people enjoying my work rather than one person just owning one piece.
I'm very curious about your family, about your kids, because you are very powerful as a woman. You have this, strong energy. You are free, beautiful soul. And how about your kids? Do you allow them to express themselves as they want to?
For sure. I think a lot of people tell me, your kids are artists. And I say, I don't know if they want to be an artist. I think giving them the choice is something very important. I was very lucky to get the choice to choose my path, and I definitely want to give it forward to them. Definitely with the life they live and the huge generation difference, the physical world is a little bit far away and they're closer to the digital. And to me, if I push them towards one thing, is to try to enjoy the physical and to experience working with their hand, touching, painting, just, feeling the real world. And I think to me that is very vital and important for their future decision. They want to be many things. If you see the list, I don't know how I will make it happen or support them for that. But I feel, it is very important to just, give them the opportunity and allow them to see where they go in their life and how it matures within their lifestyle. And I know one of my kids, for now, she enjoys working with her hands tremendously, which makes me happy. The other, likes making characters and drawing. But I believe in the end of the day, opportunities are endless now, education-wise, what we have available for us compared to what I had available. So let's see how it goes.
You are very right that right now resources just limited. And before also we start recording the interview, we talk about AI a little bit.
Yes.
So one of the questions I have is how do you see the art like from other centuries? Yes, and we still enjoy it. What people do today using AI, do you think it will still have same, timelessness?
Not sure about the timeless part, but I definitely enjoy the tool. I, as much as was afraid of it. I always feel I need to push my boundary to understand, should I or should I not? And took some courses and workshops with other artists in the field, like in Reality House in Dubai, and it gave me this access and opportunity. What I understood out of the experience of creating the video and few different things is it's a tool. As much as a lot of people are worried, it will only give you what you put in it. So to me, I love how useful it can be. How it can be used or abused is a different story. So I think for me, it started helping me generate things that used to take me or cost me a lot of money for initial ideas for some of my clients. It will not make something I did not. I mean, if it does give me something I don't want, then it's not doing the job, and I have to train it to reach the outcome. I think the failure of it would come when people take other people's work and merge it together to make up a work that they would assume is their work. I think with any technology, there is always the ups and downs of it. It all depends on the intention and why and how you are using it. And I feel for me, I needed to understand it and see it for myself and experience it. And I feel so much good can come out of it to help us, just like any other program that existed in the past. Presentations and all that, used to be done manual, and then it became a program and so on. And I feel it's just one of those steps that we are moving towards. I find it to be very helpful, to be honest.
Very excited about what we will see in 10 years and 20, because everything is changing very fast. Could you give some recommendations for the people who just start exploring art industry? What is the right direction, where they should start from?
I think it is very important to do studio visits. There are much more opportunities now than ever before. Accessing artists through online, getting to know them, going to the gallery that represents them, seeing their work is something very important, especially if you're investing into their work. So I believe more than ever now, the access to us as artists in the city has never been easier. I get people that are traveling to visit Abu Dhabi or Dubai, and they pass by and they come to see the work. And I think that is something very important. There is much more transparency, understanding of why they want to get to know the artist and see their work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your voice, for sharing your vision with us. It was very interesting to know you better, not only through art, but also your personality.
Thank you very much for coming. You made my day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.